Hi you all, how you all doing? How are you folks? I want to wish you all a happy, blessed, prosperous, healthy, wealthy new year to all of you, to all the persons that listen to my, come on my channel and listen to my reading. I appreciate you all and I pray that this year will be a wonderful year for you. Things that you didn't get to achieve last year, you'll achieve it this year. So wishing you all the best. Folks, I forgot my glasses. I'm actually down by the retirement home that I'm getting ready. And I forgot my glasses. But anyhow, I'll have to just try and make do without it. So we're back. Still reading our book, Flowers in the Attic. So we're just gonna get straight into it. So if you're busy doing something, just please listen along. Or if not, you can grab a cup of spicy teas and listen along. Alright, so it's Flowers in the Attic, written by Virginia Andrews and narrated by Weir. Outside looks rather bleak, seems as if it's gonna rain. Anyhow, we just get right into it. Guys, you know these what do they call these are they insects? I know that's the right word. Look how they do the book. Well, I had this book for years. And see the holes, the top of the book, they call them bookworm. Eat out the book. But anyhow, this book is very old. I tell you, these little things are not easy. The parts of it where they eat, sometimes I can't even see the words where they eat out because they leave holes. But anyhow, so let's get right into it. So we are at chapter 11. We had finished reading chapter 10 and now we're at chapter 11. I think I should have, I don't remember if I closed the gate. Yes, I think I did close the gate. Nowadays you have to be so careful. So chapter 11. All the days dragged by monotonously. What did you do with time when you had it in superabundance? Where did you put your eyes when you had already seen everything? What direction should your thoughts take when daydreams could lead you into so much trouble? I could imagine how it would be to run outside, wild and free in the woods, with dry leaves crackling under my feet. I could picture swimming in the nearby lake or climbing the mountain. But daydreams were merely cobwebs, easily torn into shreds and that quickly be dropped back into reality. And where was the happiness? In the yesterdays, in the tomorrows, not in this hour, this minute, this second. We had one thing and one thing only to give us a spark of joy and hope. Chris said it was a deadly crime to waste time. Time was valuable, and I do believe that, guys. No one ever had time enough or lived long enough to learn enough. All about us, the world was on the way to the fire, crying, hurry, 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 hurry. And look at us. We had time to spare, hours to fill, 1,000,000 books to read, time to let our imagination take wing. The creative genius begins in the idle moment, dreaming of the impossible and later making it come true. Just a second, folks. I'm doing a live. where were we? Sorry, so we're at dreaming up the impossible and later making it come true. Mummy came to see us as she promised, bearing new games and toys to occupy our time. Chris and I adored Monopoly, Scrabble, Chinese checkers, plain checkers, and when Mummy brought us a new double deck of bridge cards and a book on how to play card games, boy, did we become the card sharks. It was harder with the twins who weren't old enough to play games with rules. Nothing held their interest for long. Not the many tiny cars Mummy bought, nor the dump trucks, nor the electric train that Chris hooked together so the tracks ran under our beds, under the dressing table, over to the dresser and under the highboy. No matter where we turned, something was underfoot. One thing for sure, they did hate the attic. Everything about it seemed scary to them. Every day we got up early. We didn't have an alarm clock, only our wristwatches. But some automatic timing system in my body took over and wouldn't let me sleep late, even when I wanted to. As soon as we were out of bed on alternate days, the boys would use the bathroom first, and then Carrie and I would go in. We had to be fully dressed before the grandmother entered, or else. Into our grim, dim room, the grandmother would stalk, while we stood at attention, waiting for her to put down the picnic basket and depart. Seldom did she speak to us, and when she did, it was only to ask if we had said grace before every meal, said prayers before retiring, and read a page from the Bible yesterday. No, said Chris one morning, we don't read a page, we read chapters. If you consider reading the Bible a form of punishment, then forget it. We find it fascinating reading. It's a bloodier and lustier than any movie we ever saw, and talks more about sin than any book we have ever read. Shut up, boy, she barked at him. I was asking your sister, not you. Next, she was asking me to repeat some quote I'd learned. And in this way, we often had our little jokes at her expense. For when you looked hard and long enough, you found words in the Bible to suit any occasion. I answered on this particular morning, wherefore have you rewarded evil for good? Genesis 40:4. She scowled and pivoted about and left us. It was another few days before she snapped at Chris without looking his way and keeping her back turned. Repeat to me a quote from the book of Job, and do not try to fool me into believing you read the Bible when you do not. Chris seemed well prepared and confident. Job 28:12. But where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of the understanding? Job 28. Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Job 31:35. My desire is that the Almighty would answer me, and that mine adversary had written a book. Job 32:9. Great men are not always wise, and he would have gone on and on endlessly, but anger colored the grandmother's face. Never again did she ask Chris to quote. Never again did she ask Chris to quote from the Bible. She eventually stopped asking me also, for I too could always come up with some intriguing quote. Boy, these children not easy. Smart. Just read out some quote to make sure prick her conscience. The grandmother. Anyhow, around 6 o'clock each evening, Mommy would show up, breathless, always in a great hurry. She came loaded down with gifts, new things for us to do, new books to read, more games to play. Then she dashed off to bathe and dress in her suit of rooms for a formal dinner downstairs, where a butler and a maid waited on the table. And it seemed, from what she breathlessly explained, that often guests dined with them. A great deal of business is done over lunch and dinner tables, we were informed. The best times were when she sneaked up fancy little canapes and tasty fish sandwiches, but she never brought us candy to rot our teeth. Only on Saturdays and Sundays could she spend more than a few moments with us and sit down at our small table to eat lunch. Once she patted her stomach. Look how fat I'm becoming, eating lunch with my father. Then saying I want to nap so I can come up and eat again with my children. Meals with Mommy were wonderful because it reminded me of the old days when we were living with Daddy. One Sunday, Mommy came in, smelling fresh from outside, bringing a quart of vanilla ice cream and a chocolate cake from a bakery. The ice cream had melted almost to soup, but we still ate it. We begged her to stay all night to sleep between Carrie and me so we could wake up in the morning and we could see her there. But she took a long look around the cluttered bedroom and shook her head. I'm sorry, I can't. I really can't. You see, the maids would wonder why my bed wasn't used, and 3 in a bed would be too crowded. Mommy, I asked, how much longer? We've been here 2 weeks. It seems like 2 years. Hasn't the grandfather forgiven you yet for marrying Daddy? Haven't you told him about us yet? My father has given me one of his cars to drive, she said, with what I considered evasiveness. Let me read this again. My father has given me one of his cars to drive, she said with what I considered evasiveness. And I believe he is going to forgive me, or else he wouldn't be letting me use his car, or sleep under his roof, or eat his food. But no, I haven't had the nerve to tell him yet that I have 4 children hidden away. I have to time this very carefully, and you have to be patient. What would he do if he knew about us, I asked. Ignoring Chris, who kept frowning at me. Already, he told me if I kept asking so many questions, Mommy would stop coming to see us every day. Then what would we do? God knows what he'd do. God knows what he'd do. She whispered fearfully, Kathy, promise me you will not try to make the servants hear. He is a cruel, heartless man and one who wields a great deal of power. Let me time carefully the moment I believe he's ready to hear. So let me pause here and then we come back with part 2.